Let's talk today as we reflect on the biblical writings. The God who expects everything from you, and the God who, in many ways, expects nothing from you. Now, the Bible does teach us that when it comes to the laws of God, if you have disobeyed one aspect of the law of God, it is in some ways equivalent to disobeying the whole law. So I definitely fall into the category of disobeying not only one but many. So my life is done from that perspective. Now the message, of course, does not stop there. And God, in His grace, in His beauty, and in His invitation to us, He says, "Taste and see that I am good, that I am beautiful, that I will make your life beautiful." And as you go on in Scripture and learn about those in Scripture that have failed, David was seen by God as a man after His own heart. And boy, did he ever fail God miserably. And yet the heart of God and the heart of David was in tune with God. There was a harmony between David and God, even in his extreme failings. Where are you at in terms of what do you expect from God, and what do you think God expects from you? And how do you harmonize those two so you have peace of heart and peace of mind? Well, this is how I understand Jesus. I am the way, Jesus says, and the truth and the life. Well, those are things that I'm in favor of. And if he personally is those things, then that's who I want, and that's what I want. And there's such a distance between my behavioral aspects of pleasing God, although there are things that please God. If you give like a small cup of water to the least of these, whoever the least of these are, Jesus said, you do it unto me. There's an appreciation from God. God applauds you from heaven as you give this cup of water to someone that is in need. Little acts of kindness can reflect the biggest heart that God has for you and that God has for me. And we reflect that as we humbly and simply depend on Him for everything. He told His disciples, who at times got a little bit boastful perhaps and competitive, He says, "Hey, by the way, you guys, cool it. Without me, you can do nothing." Okay, that settles that. So I depend on God and on the Jesus of the New Testament for everything. The way, the truth, and life in me frees me, because I, in an actual practical way, fail God. Let's take, for example, loving God is the first commandment. Love God with all your heart, soul, and mind. That's every point of energy I have in my life. I don't know if that's ever happened even for a second. But anything that's missing in that, because I attach myself to the Jesus who did love God with all his heart, with all his mind, and with all his soul, did it for me. He bridges that gap of my inconsistencies, of my failings. And that gives me freedom, and that is the truth that I rely on. And Jesus is the way for me to find that kind of a life for all eternity. So there's some thoughts on how beautiful it is to know the Jesus of the Bible. God bless you.